This looks like the abandoned woods hangout. Creepy, but looks like it. It's very dark out here. Wow, I wonder why Heather would choose this place to talk to me. It's very creepy looking. I guess I'll go in this dark, scary, foreign, unfamiliar place. Sounds intriguing. Oh, good, you're here. Now come in closer. Okay, this is like seriously creeping me out. I can't even see you, but yet you're talking to me in a deeply intriguing voice. I know, it's supposed to be like this. We'll match our voices. 9 o'clock here is like midnight and pitch black. Okay, wherever you are. Jeez, I'm coming. Before we get into our past, I want to tell you something about this deserted woods hangout and how it got its name. It's in the woods and no one uses the deserted woods hangout, and it's a hangout? You got some of it. It's deserted and it's in the woods. But I'm going to tell you why it's deserted. Okay, continue. 300 years ago, when the school was about to be founded, when this was just woods, a girl named Abatha found this hangout. She roamed in it every day and played in it every day. And one day, she thought she had heard ghosts. She swore she heard the moaning and groaning of the unliving. And one day, just by that swing set beam over there, right over there, she saw blue dots appearing, and then when she went up to them, they disappeared. They went all the way across to the beam. She had been heard by her grandfather. If you follow the treasure, it will bring you more treasure. So she followed the blue lights. They reached the end, but yet she saw one past. She was into spooky things, so she followed them. For 3 seconds, she was floating on air. Then, in a split second, she realized she was. She fell to the ground. She split her head in half and died. Just from those blue lights. She was a bully because of others hating her. She got revenge from the unliving. It's called the deserted woods because people to this day hear her moaning and her groaning and her trying to persuade people to go die like she did. She wanted people to feel how she felt. Okay, that is very creepy, and you're telling me this because why? I feel like I relate to that. You know, Heather, I do too. Here begins my past, my story, and up to my present. When I was 4 years old, I started gymnastics.
I was absolutely horrible at gymnastics. Every time I would try something, I would fail and come up laughing. Sometimes I would get very close to mastering my skill, but of course with my horrible luck, something would always go wrong. But my best friend Haley, on the other hand, was a gymnastics legend. She was known all across the world for her amazing gymnastics. The Olympics really wanted her to join with them, but since she was only 6, obviously she couldn't. So one day she showed me her tryout for Junior Olympics. I was so happy for her because she was doing what she loved, but at the same point in time I was jealous because I couldn't do that. So I tried out her routine, and of course I completely failed, so she gave me a bunch of tips. And then after that, I thought I could do it, because she showed me it, and she went through it again and gave me a lot of great tips. The first part of the routine went well until I fell really hard and hit my head and went into a blackout. I didn't know what was going on, because everything that I saw was just black. Soon I heard my mom crying. I couldn't see anything, but I could smell and hear stuff. I overheard doctors talking and saying that I was in a coma. For days and days, 24/7, I heard my mom crying at the end of my bed. I felt so bad, and she was so helpless. She just spent her days crying and crying and crying. All she did was cry. It was like she had no life in her. One day, the doctors were doing a surgery on me. When they were finally finished, I was awake. I could move, I could see, and I was so happy to be out of that stupid coma. My mom rushed over to my bed and gave me a giant hug. She was so relieved. A few days later, we were allowed to go home. I was so happy to be back in my bedroom and be able to play with my toys since I was only 7 years old. I spent my days playing with my stuffed animals, lonely in my room, but I was happy. My stuffed animals occupied me, and I was always smiling. Then one day, my friend came over. She asked me if I wanted to go watch her horseback riding lesson. I really wanted to because I hadn't done that in a long time or done any physical activity or watched any of that. So I begged my mom and she let me go. I was amazed at my friend Kylie's beautiful horse and how what she could do. I knew right that very second that I wanted to horseback ride. That very day, I asked my mom if I could get a horse and start riding. She was a little unsure because she didn't want me to get hurt and have to go to the hospital again, but she agreed to. So, we went to a horse dealer and we got my beloved horse, Ashtakot. I was so happy, and we got all the equipment and grooming tools and tack needed for horseback riding. First I started just trotting over trot poles, and then the poles became into small cross barrels, and then even bigger cross barrels, then verticals, even bigger verticals, and ginormous verticals. I was 10 years old, and I was one of the best riders at my riding school. In late June, I applied for Canterwood Crest because they had a great riding program, and I got in. So I packed my bags and went to school. My roommate Chelsea and I became closest friends, and school was great. Then one day I was exploring the campus's property and I came up upon the Deserted Woods hangout. I decided to go check it out, which was a very stupid idea. The place looked like an old children's fort, about maybe 1,000 years old. It was run down with spider webs and leaves and cobwebs everywhere. I went inside, intrigued, and sat down in a chair. I suddenly felt a desired need to walk to the end of the swing set beam and jump off. And of course, I was stupid enough to go and do it. I climbed up the boards leading to the beam and walked across the narrow pole. I didn't know why I wanted to jump off so eagerly, but I just did. A voice in my head kept on screaming at me, "Do it, do it, do it now or I'll kill you." So, I jumped off. And in the middle of the air, I froze just before the ground. All of a sudden, this strange woman with her hand outreached appeared. I floated back towards the ground and landed firmly on my feet. I then asked her who she was. I was very curious because she had just appeared out of thin air. She said her name was Abatha, and she was the groundkeeper of the demons and ghosts in the underworld world. She said that since she had helped me and saved me from falling, that I had to do something for her in return. Then, after I'd given her something, she would give me powers to protect others. I stood there blindly, just thinking about what she had just said. What was I going to give up? She then rushed me and said I had 3 seconds to decide. I didn't know what to say, and the thing that was on my mind right now was my mom and my dad, so I just blurted out, my family. She then grinned and said a few strange words. I chased after her because she was starting to disappear and I needed more information. And then she was gone. I didn't know what to do, but all of a sudden I felt this tingling motion run through my body, and I started to float. I guess Abatha really meant that she was going to give me powers, because here I was floating. I picked up my right hand and looked at the swing in front of me, and it started to move. Back and forth it went. I raised my left hand, and a dustpan started to levitate. And I threw myself at it, and the dustpan was thrown. I had powers. Wow. Then I went home for spring break a couple months later, and found my house deserted. I didn't know why my house was empty because my parents had said they would be home, so I called my dad. He said he was at work and he didn't want me. That was strange. Why had my dad said that? He loved me. So then I called my mom, and she said the same thing. She hated me and she didn't want me here. I didn't know what was going on, but then I realized. I gave up my family just so I could save. I gave up my family instead of something else, like a toothbrush. I was so angry at myself. When I went back to school after summer break, and I saw how close you and your family were, I was jealous. I was jealous that you had a family that loved you so much, so I decided to go after you. I was jealous you had a caring and loving family.
And I'm sorry. What I did to you, you didn't deserve it. I shouldn't have done what I did. I hope you'll forgive me. Heather, you know, it's okay. I don't know how to say this, but it's that Abatha's person's fault. She took your parents away. That's basically like taking your life away. I don't know how you can live. It's unbearable. I know, but I want you to know I truly am sorry. I'm the reason why you're in all this cast, walking on crutches. It's me. It's not you. It is somewhat me. I kind of brought it upon myself. Ever since I came here, I thought I was like the big deal, and I was just so sassy. And I didn't really understand how important life is, and how I need to cherish it, and how some people make the world for you. Like Paige. I was rude, I was mean, I was sassy, and now she's gone. And I don't know how to get her back. I just wish I had my parents. I wish everything was how it was before I was so stupid and took into her and gave up my parents. Why did I do that? Why? Sasha? Sasha, are you okay? Sasha? I must go. Oh no, the demons. Abatha, they're summoning her. Oh gosh. Sasha. Rashi, 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 Rashi. No! Rashi, 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 Rashi. No! Don't let them take you! Raji, 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 Raji. Raji, 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 Raji. No! Sasha, no! Raji, Raji, Raji. No, Sasha! You can't let them take you! Sasha, no! You cannot do this! Stay. Stop. What's going on? Why am I floating? Did they get me? No, Heather, no. No. Shh. I'm concentrating. They were summoning you. So I pushed you off, and I'm using my powers to hold us up. Now I can only use them for so long, because Abatha told me that. And then I have to transfer my powers to somebody else in need who's about to die. And that would be you. So I'm going to switch them. No, Heather. I'm floating. I'm floating. I can move things. Oh my goodness. Sasha, stop. Stop playing around. You need to save yourself before she comes and takes you and kills you. What? Kill me? Not joking. Ha! Samurai.